an absolute stunner. So I want you to imagine an epic summer's day. All your good mates are ready to join you, and this is the platform you have available to use. Ladies and gents, this is the Lancia Aprea 52, and I know it's pronounced in a much more Italian way than what I can do. But ladies and gents, this is going to be the detailed tour, and after this video, we're going for a drive on this baby, and this boat is powered by the quad V12s. You may have already seen a few of these online with the inboard Volvo IPS. They will also do shaft drives powered by MANs, and there's even a surface drive version on the drawing board. But I tell you what, 50 knots we've already reached this morning on this thing. So the cruising speeds are incredible. As you can see, shallow water access is our thing. And for those of you, obviously from this part of the world, welcome to Florida, but also to the Aussies watching, if you want outboard practicality, well then that's what we can achieve here. And this is the sort of platform you entertain groups of 10, 15, maybe more people on something like this. The beam is one of the standout features, but it's worth saying, this thing is eye candy. It's eye candy for your dock, all right? So if you want a big day boat, there's plenty of options out there, but the Italians, they always have a little bit of a secret sauce, and this is a boat that makes you feel incredibly special when you get on board, and it's a boat that makes you feel really cool when you're rocking up to the dock to pick up your mates. So if that's the kind of experience you're trying to create on a boat, well then this thing might be of interest to you. So just focus your attention here on the swim platform, and I'll just give you a brief outline. Obviously with the outboards, these are the V12s, so they stay in this position even when you're turning the wheel, and then they will trim up and out of the water, but you'll see this grate here. This actually needs to be opened up, so you unlock that and that, raise the gate, and then you can lift both of the motors. We've got our cleats, they're beautifully done, stainless steel pop-up cleats. We're going to see those all the way around the boat. I've got a deployable swim ladder on the starboard side, and then because we're on the starboard side, I've actually got a shower there accessible to us as well. But we even have a second deployable swim ladder on the port side, so you're not struggling whatsoever. Just come and have a look at some of these details, because it really is a work of art. I love this blue, but look at the stainless here, feeding your lines up to the cleat. It's just been beautifully done. And these timber gunnels is super impressive. How many coats of varnish, Michael? So many. I remember talking to you about it. 20 coats of varnish. So that's not changing for a while, guys. So come through the port side and we'll have a look. You've got the kid and doggy door just here. Inside here is shore power. So we have shore power on port, 110 volt in America, 240 in the EU or Australia. But before we go there, let's just rush over to starboard, because we've got the regular swim shower, sure, when you've been for a swim, but we've also got a retractable hose. It's electrically retracted, and this hose plug, which allows you to, have a look in there, you can actually flush all the motors using your onboard water. So it's pretty cool. And this electrically retracts. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to keep this thing moving, but that's kind of cool. And obviously, because we are operating an outboard vessel, the amount of space we have available to us for storage below decks is immense, because we've saved on all that volume that would have had engine. So we're going to see that in a second. This is your mixer tap, in case you were asking, for the hot and cold. For your shower, you've got these beautiful big cleats here. That's going to be super useful for med mooring. We'll also use that in Australia and America. And see this fitting here, that is for your fender deployment. So we've got multiple locations to stow the fenders. The first one is underneath this super cool sun lounge. So I think this is probably the direction you want to hang out on this one. Like, it's beautiful upholstery. You could sit this way too, and I think I would just get a little throw cushion in and underneath me. Just hold on to your hats if this is the direction you're facing. But underneath me, operated by a button, this whole thing lifts up, and then there is a lined storage area which is drained, and you go down a ladder on the starboard side, and it's super deep storage for water toys, for fenders, and all that sort of stuff is going to go really well in there. So anything wet, I suggest put in this one because it's drained and it's separated from the rest of the boat. Really, really good storage space. So you can see on both sides, we've got these drink holders here and here. So people on this sun lounge got drink holders right next to them. And I tell you what, I wish I filmed it because I got here in the dark this morning. These lights, they pop up all the way around the boat, but underneath all these ledges and underneath here, there's this super cool blue LED lights, and the vibe that it created was just absolutely awesome this morning. I really, really enjoyed that. So come into the center of the boat. This is the heart for lunching and dining. For those of you who want some extra shade, we just operate the Sure Shade button here, and this whole shade will deploy and bathe the sun lounge in shade. So you are protected. And for those of you sitting here, well, the roof line finishes about there. So she is a Mediterranean style with more than adequate protection. But if you just need that little bit of extra shade, you could just deploy it a foot or two, and then even people in this seat are going to have protection from the sun. So it's perfectly adequate. But look at the details. Just come here and focus in on this table. Isn't this beautiful? All the upholstery and the timber. It's got a cover, so there's a cover that goes over this. There's a cover that goes over the seat, so you just whip them off, so don't worry about that so much. This one is on a fixed leg, and then underneath this seating, we have storage on port and starboard, which hinges up, and we've got a subwoofer mounted on the center line, and we've got these big, flush, high-quality speakers just here. Got fuel in there, and then we've got some line storage repeated on both sides, on port and starboard. You can see how beautifully it's been done with the timber finishing just there. We're going to go forward, and I'm going to show you the bow in a second before we get to the helm. And then there's gasoline. So 2 tanks, that's actually going to be fuel for the motors, and that's probably fuel for the genset, which I just walked over before. And over the roof, or underneath the roof line here, we've got all these downlights. We've got an immense amount of audio. So the speakers on this thing, it's like a floating nightclub. These guys having the party behind us, when we crank our stereos, they won't know what hit them. This thing is absolutely crisp, it's loud, and it's really, really good quality. So I'm just going to cover this entertainment station, talk about the storage, then we're going to go forward. But just stay right there, and I'm going to walk. I want to give you a perspective at how beamy this boat is. So I'm just going to pace from one side to the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a freaking dance floor. You have so much space here, and because of the roof line, because it's extended on the beam here and then tucks in, you are under quite a lot of sun protection, and you are going to have light rain protection as well. But this is a big speaker, 4 more speakers there. We've got the mood lighting, and then check this out. A lot is going on here. Beautiful timber. This is a pop-up TV. So everyone sitting around the U-shaped seat there can watch the footy at night. This is a proper, I would call this an Aussie Barbie setup. So I really like this. We've got the double Kenyan, and then we've got the 2 hot plates just there. That is outdoor cooking. This can all be customizable as well. So if you see a different or a better way for your boat life to set this up, that's possible with this factory. And then obviously we've got the sink here. This is all on Corian. And then under here, we've got a lot of storage. We've got shelves. We have a couple of fridges. Verifrigo, so that's an opening one. Oh, that's the drawer one. And then this is the opening one on this side. And then we also have more refrigeration, which we're gonna see when we make our way up to the bow. So this company, they've actually been around since 1890. It's a family business. That's an ice maker just there. Actually, is it a fridge? It's a fridge, but it can be an ice maker, is what I was trying to explain. Yeah, so they've been around since 1890. It's still in the family name. So it is still a family business. And I am a fan of dealing with companies that are in a family name because they honestly care. I travel the world. I meet all these different boat manufacturers and these boat brands. And when you deal with a family owned and operated factory, your suggestions really matter to them because it's generally their last name on the logo. So they really care. So it's quite evident to me that the level of detail that these guys are trying to put into this product is at another level. This is what you would class as one of the top quality or the top level day boats. And so if you're looking for an absolute exquisite experience, and if you're looking for a really cool boat to go in front of your house, well then this is definitely it. So storage underneath me, beautifully designed lounges. I've got this social lunch table and more people can sit around it here. So you could get 4 or 5 people around here for evening drinks. We've got a beautiful big anchor locker, about 100 meters of chain in there. You can operate it from up in the bow, but you can also operate it at the helm. And there is also a wash for the anchor. We've got these pop-up lights in the bow, as we saw before, drink holders. This is the base for the carbon poles, which bathe the whole bow area in shade. So there's 4 poles and a mesh shade, which is stowed in that aft locker that we saw before. And this whole area can be protected. But once again, just look at this beautiful stainless. This is only for taking the lines because the bow roller is below the bow stainless steel anchor going to the gal chain, which you'll see in the drone shots. So that's super cool. I'll just give you a feel for the space. We've got a hatch underneath that seat just here, but look at this. It's freaking massive. Like, it's a really noticeable step up in volume and size, this thing. So we've got backrests that pop up by the looks of it just here. And then we've got drink holders. We've got more lights. We've got a little window downstairs into the accommodation. And you've got options with the accommodation. You can actually do a few different things, which we'll talk about when we get down there. Beautiful stainless steel windscreen wipers. They got the wash function. The roof line actually has some aerodynamics to it and what looks like an air intake from here. I'm not too sure, but we got a spotlight, the flare, the horn, the radar, the anchor light, the VHF. It's all up there, and our red and greens as well are all up on the roof line. And just pay attention to those curves. So it is popping out on port and starboard, just to give you that little bit of extra protection when you're at that social space in the middle of the boat. The other things worth pointing out, it's all one level. It's all one flat deck, so no one's gonna trip anywhere on this thing. Before we go to the helm, this is actually the largest storage space on the boat. So through this hatch here is where you would access the engines. If you option an inboard version on this particular one, it's a massive storage space. We'll check that out a little bit later in the video. So come forward and just pay attention to the helm. It's a beautiful piece of kit. So we got 4 people on these highly polished helm chairs. They're all equipped with flip-up bolsters like so. We've got the ledge here for short Dan. That can also be maneuvered out of the way for tall blokes. And the helm itself, it's been touched in mahogany everywhere, but we've got phone charging, we've got speakers, we've got drink holders, we've got the AC. These are really big flush mounted displays here, trimmed in mahogany. You got your key starts just here, but then you would do a full engine start from the throttles just here. You've got your joystick, obviously, that's our anchor windlass. And then I've got my JL audio, which is pumping all the tunes through here. This is our multifunctional display for the motors. That's a backup multifunctional. That's the Seakeeper for the gyro. There's our bow thruster, trim tabs, and all of our boat systems just here. Windscreen wipers, navigation lights, anchor up and down can be done here as well. You got your safety, your VHF on the port side of this beautiful carbon fiber wheel. Check that out, nicely done. Got the leather wrapped grab handle, and then more storage underneath this little mahogany hatch just here. Air conditioning control, and we've even got a third flat screen display that is slightly smaller than the primaries at the helm, but really, really good for someone on this side of the boat who was perhaps doing some navigating or just keeping an eye on the controls. And we've also got AC just here as well. An amazing amount of wind protection forward. And if you look at the design of this Perspex, it's actually sending the wind vortices out a little bit. So we were quite comfortable today driving because the wind was kind of going out and around. So these 4 seats, you are always in reasonable protection for a tropical place like this. And even other climates is going to be fine. Obviously, if you're out there, you're going to be getting a little bit more wind, which you should expect on any open boat. We do have the bolt rope tracks to enclose this whole area, and they take off from just here. So it is possible to close it up when you're finished, or even operate it in that manner as well. But just, you've got drink holders in between all of these seats. They've all got the beautifully done armrests. They're incredibly comfortable. Like there's just no complaints. Like it really is, it's a bit of a piece of boating artwork is the vibe that I get. I reckon if you're a guy or girl and you have one of these really super nice houses in Miami or in Fort Lauderdale, this is the kind of boat that's going to complement a beautiful mansion. That's the vibe that I get. There's a lot of really aggressive, fun, multi-engine cigarette boats around here too, but they just don't have the same Italian flair that this thing kind of has. So I think that's everything on decks. We'll move from here and we'll go downstairs and have a look at the accommodation because there is a lot going on and you've got quite a few options. So come on with me and let's check it out. So I've just relocated and dropped the anchor in a slightly quieter destination, but you really need to see this companionway door. So it's got a locking mechanism here, a nice frame, and then if I unlock it, slide it across and then lock it like that, it's not going anywhere. So no risk of closing on your feet. So then you come down these mahogany stairs. Now, this interior, you can have a couple of different layouts if you wish. So this is the 2-cabin layout, but we also have a storage space, a super convenient storage space, which we're going to get to in a second. But if you don't option this space, you actually would delete this little galley area. We've got the microwave, we've got the fridge. Just come check out this sink. How cute's this? That's all been hammered in, I guess. That's quite a nice look. Very nice. So you would delete this area, and this would actually be the entrance to your second cabin like we have over this side. So let's come in and have a look. So you just come down the center line here, beautiful singles. You've got your hull windows just here. Everything is wrapped in the mahogany. You've got the nice down lights. You can adjust the lighting, turn it up and down, and you've got the reading lights on either side. You've got air conditioning control, 12 volt, 110 or 240 just here, and you probably can just sit up in bed, or like plenty of space. It's comfortable. You can potentially also sit up facing the other direction And then you've got this cupboard just here, as you can see. So we've got some hanging space there. We've got some natural light and privacy, and also an opening port just there. Access into the bilge. Bilge access is really good on this boat, actually. Center line and on both sides. But I just want to focus your attention on this area now, because this is where you're going to start and stop your day. So we've got our batteries are all operated from up here. So bow thruster, generators, services, and obviously 4 engines, 4 engine batteries. From here down, we're controlling the 12 volt. Okay, so up is on, down is off, and then everything is in Italian and English, obviously Italian boat. And then from here down, that's all the 110, or in Australia or Europe, 240. Okay, so 110, 240. Then you've got your wastewater, and then your ship to shore operation here. And the Jenny, or the Gen set, is actually over on this side just here. These are actually the light switches. You'll see them as we make our way around the boat. So let's head forward. I'll just point out that this table here, this is a high-low table, and then these leaves will actually flip out. We can double in size. So this is a nice little area for a number of people to relax, eat a meal, get out of the sun. This whole space is air conditioned. We've got more power, AC, stereo controls, all operated inside there. And just pay attention to all the beautiful mahogany, nice high gloss everywhere. And we've also got natural ventilation through these opening ports, should you desire. You've got the flat screen TV up on the bulkhead just here. You've got some natural light coming through this window here. So that's just after that sun lounge that we saw up on deck. And now let's come in and have a look at the loo, because we have a separate shower. I'm actually going to get into that shower and give you a feel for the space. So come in and have a look at this. I'm on the teak. I've got the shower screen just here. I'm wrapped in, it looks like marble, but it's probably Corian. And I can also open this port here to let out some of the shower steam. I've got the rain head shower and the handheld thingamajig just there, and then that's where you operate it. You've got your teak steps, which is all nice. Look at the sink. That's lovely. That's kind of cool. Very Italian. I like that. And we've got these drawers, or that's not a drawer. That's a little storage area there, and lots of storage for your towels. Big mirror. Pass me that camera. I'll show you guys the loo. There you go. And look at the walls as well. The Corian complementing the mahogany, which is nice. And then you come forward into the master. So just here we have lots of mahogany, offset with this soft touch, feels like Silvertex, and you've got nice rounded edges up here. That's actually an escape hatch that was underneath that forward seat that we saw up on deck. Nice reading lights. I turned these ones off because it was flickering on the camera and I didn't know how to fix that. But you do have extra light just there if you wish. You've got some carpet up on the bulkhead just here. Air conditioning controls. Air conditioning venting forward on both port and starboard, just above those speakers there. And then you've got power on both sides if you need to charge your phones and your devices. And we've got these lockers just here. Same again on the other side, just here. So enough storage for you guys to go and have a bit of a summer holiday. Obviously, this is a super fancy day boat. That's its primary intention. But I definitely see this as a vessel that if you want to go away for a week and stay on board, you can. And one of the reasons why is this storage space. So there's a couple of ways to get in here. I'm going to do the first way. I'm going to just back in and step down. But they've actually thought about that. So, boom, boom. So you have that extra space if you are utilizing this area and come in. So this isn't for stowaways. It's a storage area because you're going to have lots of things on a day boat. You're going to have lots of cushions. You're going to have lots of bits and pieces, platters, picnic things, and it's nice just to have somewhere to throw them all, as opposed to chucking them on the bed. So we just got all these drawers. We've got big cupboards, boom, in here. That goes all the way across. I'm even sitting on another opening space. A lot of our electricals are mounted behind here, and we do have Master Vault just in there, but that's easily accessible. So yeah, this is a great space to store a lot of those dry items that need to get out of the weather. We saw the aft storage locker, which can also actually be a crew room, but I think you only see that in Europe, for a lot of your wet items. But there's so much more storage just up on deck where we would have had the engine room. So let's go check that out. So this would be the engine bay access if you had one of the inboard units, but come with me, there's an incredible amount of space now available for all sorts of things. But we'll start by looking on the port side. So that's the port petrol tank now, and just below that is one of the battery boxes in there. You can see the Fireboy system. That is actually the diesel tank after that petrol tank, which is for the Jenny, mounted on the center line just there. You can see the shore power retrieval system. You can see the hot water. Obviously, all over the bulkheads, well, not obviously, this white stuff is actually fire retardant, but it's also insulation. You can see some power distribution, an escape hatch just there. And then over on the starboard side, we've got the water tank. I'll just give you a little look down there. Just look at all that space. It's immense. Obviously on the center line aft is that other wet storage area that I pointed out before. And then this is another battery box on the starboard side, the starboard fuel tank. The Seakeeper is on the center line forward of the checker plate. And then we can see battery chargers, inverters, and then this other battery charger is actually for the genset batteries just aft. So incredible amount of space, and you could store all sorts of things down here should you need. So remember the name, guys, Lancia Aprea 52, because this range is actually going to go up to 72 and down to 32. There's a lot happening for this company, and if you are familiar with the Gozo boats in Sorrento, it's the same mob. So these guys, as I said, been around since 1890. They know a thing or two about building cool boats. But what's my impressions? This thing is the boat you buy if you're looking for an exquisite piece of kit. If you're looking for something that's going to entertain a large group of mates, it's going to do that exceptionally well. Just look at the beam. It's a massive boat. And if you want something really, really beautiful at all times, whether that's in front of your house or just wherever you want to be out on the water, it's going to do that for you. So how does it drive is the next question, and that's the next video. It's very fast is the answer. We got a maximum of 50 knots out there in the ocean today. It's not flat water. We do have a little bit of wind chop out there today, and we're going to demonstrate that as best as we can in the next video. So click on the link coming up on the screen right now. You've been watching Dan's Boat Life. My name is Dan Jones. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks.